For my video, I will be doing the pan fry method, and I chose filet mignon because they cook easy and they taste great using this method. And pan frying is using a dry heat method with either oil or fat. I'm using oil for mine. And the oil is what transfers the heat to this meat itself. And you can, by using this, it creates a sear on the bottom of the meat, which creates a crust. The first step of this method is to season your meat of choice with some salt and pepper. And you're going to want to do this on both sides. So I've flipped them over. I'll now be seasoning the other side of the meat. And now I'm going to start my pan on high heat, and I'm going to wait for my oil to get super hot. I also preset my oven to 415 minutes because when you're cooking in the pan, it is just going to develop the crust, but in order to have it get to the proper temperature, you're going to need to put it in the oven. Alright, now that my oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add all 4 of my steaks, and that sizzling sound is what you want to hear because then you know your pan is hot enough. And so I'm going to let these go for 2 minutes on each side, and then I'll add them to the oven. Okay, so these have been in for about 2 minutes, so I'm going to flip them over. And as you can see, they have that nice dark brown golden color. And so this is basically the second half of step 2. And is to flip them all over and let them go for about another 2 minutes. Okay, so these steaks have been going for another 2 minutes, not 20 minutes. And as you can see, they have that dark color on the bottom of them. And so now I'm going to put them in the oven where they will cook until they are about medium well, because that's where my family likes them. And for those, there's a chart here, and so this one shows what each of the temperatures are for the desired doneness. So I want mine to be about 140 to 145, and so I'll probably have mine in there for about 7-8 minutes until they're where I need them to be. And when checking the doneness for your steaks, you can use temperature, which is your best bet. It's probably the safest bet. And then if you have been doing this for a while, you can do the finger test, where you put your fingers together and each finger is a different level of doneness. And so that's the best way to check for when your steaks are done. Okay, so the steaks have been in there for about 10 minutes. And this little one finished first because it is a bit smaller. But as you can see, it's up to 154, climbing slowly to 156. This one's closer to well done, but again, it's smaller. These bigger ones are a little bit more of the medium well that I wanted. So I took them all out now. Now I'm going to put on the garlic herb butter that I made. I'm going to let them rest for 10 minutes to allow all the juices to resettle back in, and then they'll be ready to eat. So these are my finished steaks. I cut this first one open so you can see how it's at that medium well stage where it's got that little bit of brown on top, and then the center is still that warm pink color. And this one will probably be a little bit more done. Again, it was smaller. These ones will probably be a little bit more pink on the inside, but again, that's all just because of size. I could have taken this one out sooner and it would have come out a little bit more done, or the other ones could have gotten a little bit more done, but it all just depends on your taste in steak. And I checked the internal temperature as you saw earlier, and that's how I knew. And also the feeling of it, it was still a little bit squishy. About here's where I wanted it. And you can do this method for almost any protein. Chicken, steaks, pork, they all work for this. Just season it, sear it, stick it in the oven until done, and then top it with whatever you want. My topping is garlic, rosemary, and thyme in a little bit of butter, which melted on. And that is basically how you pan fry any protein of your choice.